Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to point out, I am not Cliff Richard. I know, you can mistake the two of us, we look very much the same. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Philip Silverstone. I know a few of you in here. Were you expecting to see and hear Cliff Richard tonight?
Yeah!
Well, I have to bring you some news. He's here! And I heard him earlier, and you know what? I think he's got a good career ahead of him. He really sounds quite good. I'm just curious, is there anyone here actually from New York? And do those people from New York know who Cliff Richard is? Amazing, that's brilliant, that's brilliant. Well listen, Cliff at the moment is in the dressing room. He's hugging the mirror and kissing it. And they're trying to pry him away. We're going to bring him out in a few seconds. And it's going to be a fabulous evening, absolutely fabulous evening. For those of you who are... Is there anyone in here who doesn't know who Cliff is? No, so I'm not going to tell you that he's sold over 20 million records in the UK and over 250 million worldwide. But here's what we're going to do. We have to do this because tonight is very special for him. It's very special for you. What he's done tonight, it's so amazing. And I would like to give you 3 chances to give him the kind of applause that he deserves. So we're going to do it 3 times. I'm going to introduce him. He's not coming out, but I'm going to introduce him 3 times. He will come out eventually. I mean, even though you've come here to see me tonight, Cliff Richard is also on the bill. But anyway, listen, we're going to do this 3 times. So I'm going to do the first time now, and I want to hear the roof explode. I'm going to say to you in a minute, ready for this? Get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Cliff Richard. Okay, I said we're going to do it 3 times. That was good. You can do better. Okay, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. Here we go. Let's try a second time. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Cliff Richard. That was almost as good as it should be, but I think we're going to have to do it one more time. 3rd time!
Summer holiday, no our dreams come true for me and you.
In the country
Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to welcome you to the Gramercy Theatre. It's a long time since we've shared such an intimate space.
Yes.
And it suits me real fine because to show that you know that we started way back January 2013 was a rock and roll show that was designed for a smaller group of people. But this is a special group. You are a special group because I know we all must have had exactly the same reaction when Mr. Morrissey, who's in hospital now, of course, cancelled the show. And I know I was incredibly disappointed. For 2 days I didn't talk to anybody. And that's a rare thing. And then I've suddenly thought, we got these comments from you saying you just booked tickets and stuff, and we talked about it. And we said, let's do something so that you can still... How many of you came from England? How many first visit to New York? See, it was worth it. You need to come to New York at least once in your life, and you've done it now. So I'm so happy that we were able to get this together. My thanks go to the Gramercy Theatre. They've been terrific. And we've been a lot of help from them. So, it's really good to be here. I always enjoy coming to New York because nobody knows who I am until today. Until today. And it was good to see that there are New Yorkers here too. Now I've got one other hint for you. You know, if you go to a Starbucks and want to order a coffee, I did this when I first got here a few years ago though. I said, could I have a coffee mocha please? And the guy went, what'd you say? I said, coffee mocha? He went, what, pardon? I went, can I have a coffee mocha? He said, coming right up, sir. So remember, you've got to learn to speak the language. Anyway, listen, this is not my first time to New York, and it's certainly not my first time to the States. I like coming here for all sorts of reasons, and I like going to places like Nashville, where if you haven't been, you should go, at least once in your life. So I went to Nashville, well I've been there 3 or 4 times to record, and last year, as you know, some of you will know, I made a new album called The Fabulous Rock and Roll Song. We're going to do some of those songs tonight, and I know that you're going to know them all, I mean you really will. And we'll kick off with this one. She doesn't need improvement. She's much too nice to rearrange for me. There's supposed to be a flower of the ocean, swaying just for the I see poetry in motion. See a gentle sway away from the ocean. Could never move that way. I love every movement. There's nothing that I would change. There's no room for improvement. She's much too nice to rearrange. Poetry in motion. All that I adore. The number 9 ocean. Love more. Please sit down, you know, I know you're getting tired. Actually, just Phil, oh yeah. Oh, thank you so much, thank you. Thank you. We've been trying to figure out how to make this a more intimate evening, and having spoken with this man before, I thought he was the obvious choice to get him to speak with me.
Thank you. But I have to point out, had you asked me to do it next week, I would have had to decline because Wimbledon's on, and I would be a bit busy.
I may have been busy myself, actually.
Yeah. So, I have a question for you. You've just completed a world tour. You've been to the Southern Hemisphere, you've been to places in Europe I've never heard of. Did anyone tell you you're an old age pensioner? You're not supposed to be doing this.
You know, I discovered that when I got that bus pass. And you know, you get a heating allowance after 65 or something like that.
Yeah.
You can heat 4 homes on 200 quid. Actually, I'm quoting Cyril, she must be right.
I recently read an article where somebody asked you how you managed after all these years to have such loyal fans. And I have to say that what you've done tonight proves why you have such loyal fans. And many of them who I correspond with have asked me on their behalf to thank you for everything you did tonight.
It's been a pleasure. I just felt that we had all shared that moment. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was so excited about being on that stage with Morrissey, because I know that the audience that would have come to see him love him. But for me, the challenge was to play to this alien audience of American people who don't necessarily know me, and are there to see Morrissey. And you know, the band isn't here, of course, but Susie and Keith are here. And we had this show really planned out, choreographed, lighting and everything. And I was dying to try it because I knew that we could never win them over, but we might impress them. So, having felt that way myself, it just seemed to me that some of the comments that were coming through my office was ringing, you know, the Facebook and, you know, on the twits. Yeah, there's nothing personal.
Cliff.
Oh.
But anyone got a shilling for the meeting?
It was just so, I was taken up by the fact that everybody was as disappointed as I was.
Yeah.
And so it seemed to be a good idea to do this.
I want to take you back a minute to Summer Holiday. A few people here might have seen it. It was the second most popular film in the UK in 1963. There were 4 songs from that film that all went to into the top 10 to number 1 within the first 3 months of the new year. How did your ego not go ballistic? Or did it?
No, it is ballistic. I just hold it. I don't know. I've never felt any. You know, the funny thing is we're not any different to any other human being. It's just that we do a different kind of job. It is a kind of extremely exciting kind of work to do. You're going out and there's a great feeling when you leave an audience and you feel that they've had a really good time with you. So that's the extraordinary part of it. But I guess it's basically it's got to be. I wrote a book about well, it was to celebrate my 50th year. And in the book, I dedicated it to my mum and dad, because when I read the script through and I got it to check it out, I couldn't believe how many times I mentioned my father or my mother. And it's funny, as as someone who's now 54, it just amazes me that I still have moments when I'm thinking, my dad wouldn't like me to do that. After all these years. So the influence was there right from the beginning, and I think maybe they helped me, they kind of nailed my feet to the floor.
You just that's excellent. You just sang Poetry in Motion. And that was by originally Johnny Tillotson. Now, if I recall, well, I did my homework thanks to Wikipedia, he knocked You in the Shadows off of the #1 spot with I Love You. No. Did you know that?
I was number one with I Love You.
Yeah.
Johnny Tillotson.
And he knocked you. So why did you include him in the song?
The main thing is that we've been knocked off that #1 spot many times.
You still included him in the rock and roll songbook, and I personally, I told you this last time I was with you, I think that is the most brilliant rendition. That's the one that I keep playing. I love that. I love it.
Well, I found it really difficult to choose the songs, and in the end, every song on that album is on my jukebox in Portugal. And because that's the ones I like. I bought those records as 45s, and a couple of them for 78s. They're older than they look. So I went to the jukebox, looked through, I thought, look at that, Roy Hamilton. Most people didn't know Roy Hamilton, but I loved that. Don't let go, don't let go. So I did that. The second album I'm going to do this October. I'm having an easier time choosing, because now I know there are hundreds of really fantastic pop rock songs, and so I'm trying to compile another 12 or 13 tracks, and it'll be fun to do. I'm going to use the same band in the same studio in New
You read my mind, because I was going to ask you that, and you really don't want to read my mind. Just a couple more questions, because I know they want to hear you sing. Shall I take that question? I know that you and Elvis were in competition for having the most hits throughout the first 6 decades since rock and roll began. Have you beaten yet?
In actual fact, we did the statistic, and you got it.
Can you say that again?
Worldwide record. Have another drink. The statistic was correct. The 250 million that gets quoted regularly of this record sales I've made, that was discovered, that was 30 years ago, so I reckon we're down to, we must be 251 million by now. But the main statistic that I like to quote is the fact that I am the biggest selling singles artist in Britain. They came to my home, this TV company, my office arranged it, and they said they want to talk to you about the importance of the single. And of course, I had feelings for the singles, so we came and they talked to me. I said, we use the singles to gauge how popular we are, whether we can play in a bigger hall or do we have to play in a small hall. It's a fantastic thing, and it represents your album when it goes to #1. And at the end of it, they said, what if we told you that you had sold more singles than anyone else in Britain? And I said, well, I'd love. And I quoted, I said, Elvis, the Beatles, Frank Sinatra. I mean, thousands of people have been singing fantastic music over the years. And they said, no, it's true. What they did was they counted up every record released by every artist that released it in Britain, added up the sales, and I won. But, and the awful thing is, you must watch X Factor and stuff like that. There are some fantastic singers around. I don't think they're going to be able to do it because people don't buy records anymore.
No.
You can get 20 million hits.
But these were singles. These weren't downloads. These were records.
Oh, yeah, these were actual pieces of plastic.
Yeah.
And so it was a very, very fabulous time to be alive and singing in those days. But you know, I listen, when you think about it, the X Factor, even the losers are great. The 5 losers have now become the biggest boy band in the world. One Direction. They're all lost at the X Factor. So the show is great, but it does show us how many people are good singers, and
and you're joining them. I want to get off of this. I want to get off of this quiz because they do want to hear you sing. But I have to ask you this: you started out, so my grandmother told me, as a rock and roll singer, and then you became a pop singer. But you really are. I mean, I love you as a balladeer. So you love ballads, don't you?
I do, yeah. And the funny thing is, many people think that rock and roll is a tempo. It isn't a tempo. It's a whole musical culture. When I bought Elvis's record, Heartbreak Hotel, you know, that was a blues pop rock thing. On the other side was I Was the One. Woo! And this fantastic ballad came out. And I'm thinking, oh, so it's everything really. And I've done a lot of ballads and I like singing them. I've got 1 or 2 favorites. In fact, are you finished now?
Thank you very much.
This is a song, and I've been trying to explain it as I've toured since January 2013. This has become a real mystery. This is really, I know that many of you know, you've heard what I've got to say here, but I'm so thrilled that there are Americans here. What will always be true is that rock and roll, this is the fatherland of rock and roll. And I think you've begun to understand that although you created it, you couldn't really own it. Because now people sing it all over the world and love it, and it all came from here. So I'm so happy you came. And are there any other people, are there any Morrissey fans that got to sing? What a choker it must have been for you. But what a thrill that I got to be here tonight. If any of you are writing anything on your iPads and things, maybe he'll read it, but just say we wish him well. And I'm getting slowly over the disappointment, but maybe he'll ask me again sometime, I don't know. This song, it is a ballad, and it took us 3 months to get it into the top 100 in Britain, and the highest position it reached was 15. And you know, I can't believe it, but it was even worse in Australia.